Hi everyone, Dr. Schmidt here. So you can see we are in section 10.2 now. We're going to learn about Excel's if function. Now before I forget and get into 10.2 here, we're of course going to start with guided practice activity number 1. I want to let you know we are going to skip nested if functions. So you can skip all of objective 2. Skip all of that. And then we usually skip the Excel previews. So we will focus, like I said, in guided practice activity number 1. Now, there's not a whole lot of practice problems here. So what I'm going to do is off to the side, and I suggest you grab a notebook. I am going to make an example or 2 or 3 here for you. So grab your notebook, go ahead and pause this for a second, and let's get started. So first, let's just practice. Let's determine the output of the following if statements, the following if functions in Excel. That way I can make sure that you understand the basic functionality of this function before we start using it in applications. So what in parentheses is what this function will output if it evaluates true. So this is what it's testing. If that turns out to be true, then it returns what? If what we test turns out to be false, then it returns the word yes. You always have to put words in quotations, but you don't have to put numbers in quotations. So what does this mean that we're testing? Look at those symbols. In particular, look at this greater than and less than symbol back to back. That means not equal to. That, it's right here. So, does it test true or does it test false? Well, we know, of course, 1 plus 1 is 2. And this means not equal to. That's what the back-to-back less than and greater than symbol means. So, true or false? Obviously false, right? This is a false statement. Which means the output of this if function would be yes. So the output is yes. Let's try another one. Let's try this if function where we have 5 minus 2 parentheses negative, oh wait, there would be a time symbol right there. Excel always has to have the time symbol. And then the -1 and the caret symbol, which is an exponent symbol, then a 4, a less than symbol, an equal to symbol, the number 10, comma 16, comma 17. So this doesn't have words in it. Let me make that less than symbol actually look like a less than symbol. This right here means less than or equal to, and we can evaluate this. What is that? Follow PEMDAS carefully. If you follow PEMDAS, you should get 5 minus 2 times -1 to the 4th power is a positive 1. And then that would be 5 minus 2, so 3. Is 3 less than or equal to 10? Yes. 3 is less than or equal to 10. So it's true. And remember, the first argument after the test is what you get if it tests true. So 16 would be the output. The output is 16. Now let's try some real-world problems. Let's say a strong woman competitor is considered to be in the lightweight class if she weighs at most 140 pounds. Otherwise, she's a middleweight or an open competitor. So these are the different weight classes for strong women athletes. So we can write an if function to input a woman's weight and decide which weight class she would be in. So if we were to roughly sketch what Excel would show us, it would look something like this. When there's, row numbers and the columns are labeled with letters, right? So this would be the upper left corner of an Excel document. And we could put weight in the first cell. And I don't know, maybe a woman weighs 141 pounds. And then we could write an if statement right here to determine the class. So the if statement would be if cell B1, because that's her weight, is less than or equal to 140. It's less than or equal to because that's what the word at most means. It means less than or equal to 140 pounds. So if that evaluates to true, we should return lightweight because that is the name of her weight class. Now, what if it returns false? Well, then we would return middleweight or open. And that's all in quotations. That's how you get Excel to output text. So again, this is what you're testing. This is what you output if it's true. This is what you output if your test is false. Let's do another example. Let's say a bank offers 3% APR on a certain CD, but only if there's a minimum deposit of $10,000. Otherwise, it's 1.5%. So if we were to set something like that up in Excel, once again, we'd have the rows and the columns. And of course, it's not as pretty when you draw it by hand, but you get the idea. In the first cell, we would put the investment amount. In the second cell, we would, I don't know, maybe we want to calculate the first year's interest. So the investment amount would go here in B1. And let's say we're investing $17,000. So if we're investing $17,000, what we would want to put in this cell is an if function. If B1 is greater than 10,000, because that was the minimum deposit, a minimum deposit of $10,000, the interest that will be earned is B1 times 3% if that evaluates to true. Alternatively, if B1 is not greater than 10,000, then the interest would be B1 times 1.5%. So those are the if functions that you would write here in this problem or up here in this problem. We could also discuss what will their outputs be, because I gave you an input. I gave you inputs for these. So in the first case, 141 pounds. Is that less than or equal to 140? No. So it's false. Which means the output would be middleweight or open. That would be the output of this function. What about down here with the 17,000? Does that evaluate to true or false? Well, that evaluates to true. So that means our output will be whatever this is. Well, what is that? What is 3% of 1,700? I trust that you can do that. 17,000. I trust that you can do that. I'm going to leave that to you for practice. Try to keep this video nice and short.